Do any of you remember losing a rank in an exam during your school or college days? I remember losing my first rank in a final exam just by a couple of marks. Does anyone remember losing a job opportunity or a promotion at work and feeling very low about it? I'm sure some of you may recall losing in a sports event, or maybe losing a role in a theatrical performance, or maybe losing a sought after position of power. And what to speak of losing a relationship or losing a dear one? As much as losing something or losing someone can be painful, disappointing, and frustrating, it just happens to be a part of our real life in this real world. There are things in life we end up losing, not because we didn't give our best or not because we were complacent, but because there are forces beyond our scope, beyond our abilities to control. And it's very important that we accept this reality. Never lose hope. The one thing that makes life a painful ordeal is hopelessness. A boy once entered a room where he saw 4 lit up candles illuminating the space with their soft glow. The first candle spoke to the boy, "I am the candle of love." There was a time when things were used and people were loved, but today, things are loved and people are used to get those things. Nobody values me any longer. Saying this, the candle of love went off. The second candle said, "I am the candle of peace." In a world where everything is being torn down to pieces, who values peace? And the second candle went off as well. The third candle turned to the boy and said, "I am the candle of trust." If there be anything that's really hard to find in a selfish world, it's trust. What's the point in me staying lit up? The little boy started sobbing as he saw the flame of the candle of trust go off and the room getting darker. The fourth candle spoke in a reassuring tone, "Don't cry, my boy. I am the candle of hope. As long as I am lit, there'll never be darkness. Things may be dim, but never dark. As long as I am lit, you can pick me up and light the other 3 candles of love, peace, and trust and brighten the room up again." The boy wiped his tears and with a smile, lighting up his face, lit up the room as he lit the 3 candles with the candle of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what you lose in life, never lose hope.
Rule number 8, listen to your conscience.
How do people find that thing? How do you recommend when there's a lot of family pressure on them? How did they find the thing?
I find a lot of times it's an issue with the system, correct? Like, for example, the industry, the corporate world, is only picking up people from the top-rated universities. The industry is only picking up students who have the best grades. Now, if you have people who are being picked up based on your university or based on your grades and your marks and your academic performance, then guess what parents are going to pressurize kids with? You better get the marks, you better get the grades, you better get to the best university, correct? And guess what the educational institutions do? It's a demand and supply system. If the demand of the industry is grades, and the parents are pushing to get grades, the educational systems are driven to make kids get grades. Now imagine if the industry changes and the corporate world redefines saying we don't hire grades. We hire passion. We hire candidates for their passion. Correct? Now what are the parents going to say? Don't worry about the grades, son. Look at your passion. And what is the education system going to provide? How to look at your passion. Correct? At the end of the day, it's about the demand and supply, really, So in terms of how does a kid or how does an individual figure that out for himself or herself, number one is there is a voice from within us, correct? And there's a voice from within us that's constantly resonating with our soul saying, "I love this, I may be great at it or I may not be great at it, either or, whichever way. But I love this. I'm in absolute love with this. I can wake up early in the morning to do this, and I can go to bed like late in the night if I were doing this. I know that that's what it's really in sync with my soul, Now, what happens with that is sometimes it's multiple things. It's 3, 4, 5 different things for people, right? And now if that be the case, then I think it's also over a period of time, we need to funnel it down, to narrow it down to that one thing. It's like being in love, right?
a guy or a girl is in love with somebody, there's 3, 4 different people they're trying and seeing, and they're kind of exploring. But it's one person who like really, really strikes that chord. So one thing is to listen to your inner conscience constantly. People who are not in tune with their inner radar are not going to be able to find out what their passion is. If you're living in life only catering to the outside demands and not introspecting, not going deep to listen to your conscience and your inner voice, where's the question of figuring out what the passion is? You have to see what resonates with your soul.
Rule number 9, practice spirituality.
There is a great need that all of us start practicing spirituality. Spirituality not only declutters our mind, meditation, mindfulness, chanting, prayer, doesn't simply declutter of our mind of the anxieties or pressures that we go through, of the stress that we go through. And not only does it uplift our spirits when we feel low and depressed, I think a spiritual process gives us tremendous resilience and gives us tremendous fortitude, gives us tremendous inner strength to stand strong in the midst of all storms. And therefore, one of my favorite quotes, which I've very often brought up in our live sessions, is pain is inevitable, misery or suffering is optional. What happens to us, we can't stop that. The fact is beyond us. But how we take what happens to us